Happy Valentine's Day from the Eagan Civic Arena. A game that could have huge implications for the Eagan Wildcats. Pleased to be joined by Nathan Cron. Again, my name is Mike Cook. And Nathan, this is a game, we know it's the Eagan Wildcats' last regular season game and last regular season home game, but it may not be their last home game of the season.
It may not be their last home game. The Wildcats are vying for a 4 seed in Section 3AA. They're head-to-head, locked horns with maybe the Park Cottage Grove Wolfpack, probably the best competition for that 4 seed. We'll see how that turns out. A win today would certainly give them some good ammunition walking into that seeding meeting. At the same time, the Apple Valley Eagles, their opponent today, also have an opportunity to improve their section seeding if they're able to come up and beat the Wildcats. Tall order, though. The Apple Valley Eagles have been on a streak of some really rough decisions, Mike.
Yeah, Valley, they've come into this game, they've lost 10 in a row, scored just more than 2 goals one time in that stretch, and they've scored more than 2 goals just 4 times on the entire season. Apple Valley comes in there 4-19-1. Most likely going to be the 8th seed in the Section 3AA playoffs, but we'll get to talking about that throughout the game. It is senior day here in Wildcat country. A dozen young men being honored along with their folks before this one, and we'll try to talk about each of them throughout today's broadcast. Wildcats, by the way, they've lost 3 in a row coming in. The other night it was a 3-0 loss down at Rosemount. But that was a game, it was 1-0 really, or 4-0 by the way, final. That was a game that Eagan it was only 1-0 midway through the third before Rosemount kind of added some late ones to make it look worse than it actually was.
Yeah, after the last 3, the Cats have been on the wrong end of all 3 score lines. But as you say, they were competitive against the Irish for 2/3, maybe even 3/5 of that game.
Turner from way out, one of the seniors out there. Knee guard number 2 is senior. Shilkin back at the point, senior.
4/5 of that game, and of course they had a really good effort against Lakeville South Cougars as well, but ended up on the wrong end of what kind of appeared to be a lopsided score.
Yeah, it was 6-2 final, if I remember, at Lakeville South. A couple of late goals to make that one appear worse than it truly was. And that one, will it be an ice? No, they're not going to say. Arms quickly out by the officials with a minute gone by, and this one from the Civic Arena. Well, Saturday afternoon, South Suburban puck. Here comes Liam Thomas for the Wildcats. He wears sweater number 4. He'll be out there with Lunenburg number 14 and Blake Pavic number 11. A trio of 12th graders for this Wildcat squad. Lobo with a shot that was knocked down by Gilbertson for Apple Valley. Anders Gilbertson is 28. He's out there with Lincoln Prees number 7. Spencer Keekley 34 for the Apple Valley Burnsville Co-op. Gilbertson's going to dump that one in. Schwark, glove save, hangs on. As Valley was changing up a lot behind the play, I thought Austin might drop that one and we play on, but playing it safe is sophomore netminder Austin Schwark for the Wildcats. Schwark comes in, .293 goals against. Save percentage, .898. And you look back, I think it was the Shakopee game in particular, the Cats gave up 8 goals, but we had said during that broadcast, you can't blame the goalies on it. Probably 7 of those saved. Those were shots that NHL goalies would not have been able to save.
The Shakopee Sabres are an absolute machine. We talked about it when we played them, and they have done nothing in the last handful of games to suggest otherwise. I have to believe that in Section 2, that they and Minnetonka will certainly be, well, and no disrespect to the other teams in Section 2AA, but based on what I've seen so far this year, which is admittedly a relatively small sample size, those are the 2 teams that are probably going to end up in the section final.
Garrett Larson brings it in for the Wildcats, another senior. Nick Turvold on that line along with Brody Kreiser. Quick shot at high to Grandma and Grandpa Kreiser checking in from Brainerd this afternoon. Glad you're watching us here on Eagan TV. By the way, JV action before this, 7-0 Wildcats. Shots were 41-11 in favor of the home team. Eagan JV this year, 17-7-1 they finish at.
Portends good for the future. The Wildcats, of course, with, as we said, 12 seniors on this roster. That JV team is going to have to reload this varsity roster next season. So very, very important, and we're going to have a first penalty of a game. Yep, Shilkin's going to go for probably interference.
It's going to be a hold, actually.
Or hold, never mind. Okay, there you go.
You could have, you could have called either, I do believe. So first power play of the game goes to Apple Valley Burnsville. Apple Valley comes into this one. Their power play is clicking at a 14.4% rate. Cats are 80.3 on the the penalty kill, coming into this one. And we'll get a quick whistle. All of 9 seconds elapsed. Hand pass.
It was a nice play that time by Turner, using the backhand to flip it out high off the glass, forced the Apple Valley player at the point to reach up with his glove to try to corral that, tapped it high in the air, almost like a basketball rebound, and of course it dropped right to one of his teammates. Hand pass and a defensive zone faceoff for the Eagles.
And they're quickly into the offensive zone as Buckner leads the rush. Schwark with the save, squared up nicely that time. Avery Buckner, 11 goals on the year, leading the Apple Valley Burnsville Eagles. "17 seconds elapsed in the power play." Actually, I take that back. Benoitken's got 8. Yeah, Buckner's got 11. Benoitken's got 14 assists to lead the Eagles.
Well, in a season where you're offensively challenged, you're going to need those guys to find the back of the net on this one, as Schwark had to come down for that.
Yeah, Buckner's shot got all the way through. Here's Vobel for the Wildcats, battling in there with number 13 for Apple Valley, Spencer Miller. Miller's actually going to come away with this puck back up top. Buckner shot it from there last time, this time shadowed by Turner. Buckner tried to make a move, lost the puck. Turner's going to ring that one around the boards. Cats are going to be able to make a 3-player change. Apple Valley changes 1 up, it looked like, on the far side as Colton Himmelwright hopped over the boards. Actually, there's a few more now switching for the Eagles. And Cats just dumped that one in Turvold again. 42 seconds to go, man advantage, Apple Valley, Burnsville. Here comes number 12 for the Eagles, that's Benoitken. Seems like we've been calling that name a lot over the past. We're thinking maybe an older brother on this program.
Yeah, that name has been, we've seen and heard that name a lot for the Apple Valley Eagles, and for Andrew, his final regular season hockey game as a senior at Apple Valley.
Yep. Comes in, he's got 8 goals, 14 assists. So we're down to 9 to go, man advantage Eagles. Maybe one last opportunity for a shot as Nick White chases in deep. Forrester going to clear that around for the Wildcats. Francis keeps it in. That hit Riley, I think, on the way through. Riley, by the way, I was told had a couple of goals in that JV win. That was kept up right by Forrester at the blue line as he and Keekley battle. Forrester going to win. Here's Lunenburg. Lunenburg chases it down, but puck popped out. I thought that went off the netting on this. Apparently not. Officials had a much better view than we did.
They tend to.
Yeah. Cats on the rush. Pavic leaves it. Lunenburg shot, tied up nicely by a defenseman there for Apple Valley. I think that was 13 Miller.
Yeah, great back check there by Miller.
Actually, Miller's going to dump that one in. Shots on goal, 5-2 Eagles as we approach 6 minutes into this one. And final regular season game for both of these squads. Postseason action begins on Tuesday. And as we said, if Eagan gets the win, most likely going to get the 4 seed.
I have to think so, but again, I mean, coaches are squirrely when it comes to voting and seeding teams, and weird things can happen. But at the same time, I think the Wildcats, if they win this game, they're going to finish above 500 for the season. If I've got that correct,
at
500. It's the first time they've done that in a number of years. They have a number of section wins against common opponents. They've got better common opponents determination, better common opponent results than Park. So, Park, I'm sure will make a compelling case when they're asked why should you be a 4 seed, but we'll see what happens.
Well, maybe Eastridge can just beat Park later today, and really it won't be much discussion there. But we'll find out. It's funny because Eagan played Park first game of the year in this facility, and it was a 4-4 final. And as Coach Kreiser said today, he was telling me before the game, who would have thought what happened on November 20th would play such a huge role in where we play next week?
Nygaard almost was able to steer that one on frame.
There's Turvold can quick control.
have to say, Mike, the Cats not quite as crisp maybe as I've seen them this year.
No.
And maybe that's a situation where they just need to kind of get their blood up a little bit. But right now, just not quite as sharp as they've been earlier in this season.
Shilkin carries it all the way around. And Kreiser, yeah, he did keep that one in at the point. Had that right on the blue paint. Shilkin couldn't quite control. Well, this one's going to get out. And arm is in the air for the official. Arm is out, not in the air. We are going to play on as there is no icing that time down. Eilertson and the Cats looking to regroup in a scoreless hockey game with 9.5 to go in the first. Larson tries to poke it in. Here's Kreiser. Couldn't quite get that puck out of the air. And forward it goes into the zone. Looks like Valley changed up a couple of players behind the play. But it's going to be Francis. Pinching in nicely for the Cats that time was Lunenburg, but he couldn't quite get to that one in time. Yep, and the Eagles offsides. Player got knocked down, couldn't quite get out.
Yeah.
So we'll have a whistle just outside the zone, I believe.
Yeah, not sure if you're picking up on this either, Mike, but and I think maybe you are, but yeah, Cats don't look sharp. They don't look dialed in, and maybe it's the senior day, maybe it's the starting the lineup, with an all-senior lineup. Maybe I don't know what the deal is, but it's they've got to. Hey, this is where you get ready for sections. How you play today is going to matter when it comes to that 4-5 game, whether you're the 5 seed or the 4 seed, and. The Cats need to really lock in here, make sure that this isn't a game that they barely squeak by in. They need to send a message that, hey, we're in midseason form, and that midseason form means we're putting goals on the board and shots on the net.
And if you're Apple Valley Burnsville, you've got to come into this one. I mean, you've got 4 wins on the year. Okay, most likely you're going to get bounced by St. Thomas Academy or Rosemount first round of the playoffs. So really, if you can, this is the game that you could potentially end on a high note kind of thing, knocking off a district rival. And Eagan's we're going to have a penalty
on Benolkin. So Benolkin was coming across the blue line. The referee didn't get out of the way. Benolkin upset with him, and I was watching, and the referee was watching him as he skated past the referee coming back the other direction. He had words for the referee. And just a bit of a loss of composure there, some frustration at the end of a season where, you've got a 10-game losing streak, and unfortunate for Benolkin.
Looks like Benolkin wearing the C
yep.
For the Eagles. Over on the bench, they're looking for some answers. Tate Erickson, head coach for this Apple Valley Burnsville squad. Tyler Carlson, Scott Rowater, the assistants. Yep, unsportsmanlike is the call. First power play opportunity of the afternoon for the Wildcats. Eilertson's quarterback in that power play. Vobel couldn't get off a good shot, but nice job by Turner to take that puck away from Holland, who looked to have a pretty easy clear.
Yeah, Vobel wants that one back, absolutely. He did not get wood on that at all.
Eilertson near side. Williams, top goal scorer for this Eagan Wildcat squad. There's Vobel, shot to goal! 8:58 time of that one. And it's going to be Andrew Vobel for the Eagan Wildcats.
Well, as I was saying about Vobel wants that one back because he didn't get good wood on it. That one he got good wood on. And on the third shot of the game for the Wildcats, they get their first goal. Big tally for the Wildcats.
Fourth of the year for Vobel. Williams and Eilertson officially getting the assists on that power play goal.
And maybe that'll jumpstart the Wildcats, Mike. Maybe that will get them playing with a little more intensity, maybe a little more focus, just a little more energy perhaps.
I was thinking just the very same thing right before you said it, but here comes Benoiken, who was in the penalty box when the Wildcats scored. Aggressive forecheck there by Apple Valley, but the Cats are going to be able to control. That was just the third shot on goal for Eagan.
Yeah, they had some offensive zone time, but they did not have what you would describe as shots to the net.
That puck tipped. Larson with the shot. Link with the tip. Sealing with the save. Here in the Civic Arena.
Yeah, it hit iron.
Yeah, it did.
It hit iron.
Garrett Larson, one of those Eagan seniors, number 20. He's undecided what he's going to be doing next year, and advice for younger players is work hard and it will pay off. Garrett Larson, one of the dozen seniors we said honored before this game. Here's Pavic with a shot that went through traffic. Might have went off the stick or the skate of Thomas. And Lunenburg knocks down Miller. Here comes Thomas. Shot saved Johnson that time. Miles Johnson, number 35, between the pipes for Apple Valley Burnsville. 478 on the goals against. 853 on the save percentage coming into this one. And we've got a whistle. Face-off going to be to this one coming out of the zone. Nope, it's going to be in the zone. Must have got up into the netting. 6:49 to go in the first. Max Turner to draw for the Wildcats. Max going to be going to a trade school. Loved his advice for younger players is beat the guy next to you.
Does that mean beat your teammate? Or does that mean beat the guy on the other team that's next to you?
Exactly.
You know what? An argument could be made. Both are equally valid.
And are we talking skating around the opponent, or are we talking,
are we talking
physicality?
Something a bit more malevolent? Yeah, I don't know.
Big word there. I like that.
Oh, malevolent?
Yeah,
well, that denotes intent. Perhaps just more physical. I should stick with physical.
Yep. Still 1-0 Cats on the goal by Vobel on the power play as Apple Valley comes out with Gilbertson. Gilbertson all alone as everybody else changing behind the play that wears a brown sweater. Gets a little help in low. Gilbertson again. And number 11, Sorn was out there. But we've got a high stick against...
I think the Cats are going to go here.
Is it Nygaard?
I think it is.
High stick is definitely the call. And actually it's going to be Turvold going. So with 5:54 to go in the first. Second power play of the afternoon for Apple Valley. We were saying Eagan down at Rosemount the other night had just 2 penalties in that game against the Irish. Rosemount not penalized on the box score I saw on Legacy Hockey.
Yeah, I find that shocking. In fact, I almost don't even believe it. I mean, how do you have an Eagan-Rosemount hockey game with only 2 minor penalties and one team not penalized at all? Right. I don't know. Right. Except I will say the Rosemount Irish, Mike, I think it's fair to say they have eyes on the prize of going to the state tournament this year and getting out of Section 3. And the way they do that is by being professional, being focused, and not giving into or not getting involved in any silliness with another opponent heading into sections.
And we all know how much of a huge rivalry that is on ice between these two schools. But yeah, credit the Irish for that, for staying calm, and really credit Eagan for just 2 penalties on that one. Turnover, Eilerson couldn't quite get it that time for the Cats. Bad turnover there by Apple Valley's Benoiken, I believe it was.
Oh, that'll stop your heart, won't it?
Johnson, though, right there with the big save. He was all over that. Benoiken trying to answer at the other end. Down to 1:15 to go, man advantage. There's Buckner back at the point. Rink wide, Benoiken from way out. That whistles wide of Schwark. Buckner, easy save to keep that one, and that goes through. He had a man in front, John White, potential tip. Eilertson and Benoiken, a little shoving again. But Valley does stay on sides. Buckner with a move, Schwark save. Schwark another save. Boy, he saved Buckner how many times already?
That's
tonight?
Maybe 4 times. I mean, that might be.
Least.
It's 3 in this. I think it's 3 on this power play alone. Yeah. But credit to the Eagles, Mike. They have brought it today, and they're out shooting the Wildcats 9-6 here officially on the big board. So, I mean, this is intense stuff.
Absolutely. Well, Apple Valley, they played Mankato West, got beat 3-2 a couple of nights ago. I understand that was a pretty close game over at the Burnsville Ice Center, but something you can build off of if you're Apple Valley. I know one of their better performances. Unfortunately for them, they did come up just a little short. But it appears to have carried over into this one. It's down to inside 30 to go, man advantage. Here's Francis. Good puck movement around as I say that. Cats are able to get it out. That's Riley. No, that was actually Meade on the power play. And I saw Mann is out there as well right now for the Wildcats on the PK. Another shot. That hit traffic on the way, hit his own man. And that should kill off the the power play for Apple Valley as we are now back to 5-a-side here in the Civic Arena where it's still 1-0 Eagan. And Schwark gets the glove down on that one. 11th shot of the night or afternoon for Apple Valley.
Neither penalty for the Wildcats, Mike, overly, not egregious, not dangerous, not, cheap or anything like that. Just penalties, right? I mean, it happens. But that's one of the ways that they're going to let the Eagles stay in this game is by if they keep committing penalties, it's going to show a bit of a lack of discipline, a lack of movement. I don't know, it's going to show something, and it's not good if you're the Wildcat fan.
Puck into the zone. Riley leading the rush. And it's Liam Riley. I think I called him Cam earlier. For some reason, I have that in my head. I don't know why. But it's Liam Riley, number 3.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be surprised to find out he has a different first name. I mean, what does he know?
He probably has, folks watching, checking in.
He probably does. Who are probably wondering, who's this Cam Riley guy?
Exactly. It's a nickname, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
We're going with that.
Well, you can go with it.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, remember, you and I are volunteers. They get what they pay for.
Yes, exactly.
Shilkin with a long shot all the way through. Thomas there, potential wraparound attempt. Couldn't quite control. Lunenburg out of angle. Pavic was in front. Shilkin right at the Apple Valley bench. Back down for Thomas. Lunenburg, he's going to play baseball at Concordia St. Paul coming up, and exercise science is going to be his area of study. Fun fact about Brandon Lunenburg, started a jersey collection, but it only lasted a year.
Started a jersey collection, but it only lasted a year.
These facts, by the way, courtesy of the Eagan Hockey Boosters Facebook page.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, I kind of feel like I'm in that movie. Would you like to know more? Yeah, I kind of want to click on that link now and find out about the jersey collection that only lasted 1 year.
You have to ask him about it. Yeah, give credit. I mean, they did a nice job on the Facebook page about all these seniors. They've got, their current photo, something about them, and they've got photos from when they were all youth hockey players. Really, really kind of cool to see. And I'll tell you what, one of the student managers, Phoenix Nygaard, had a lot to do with that stuff, I've been told. Here's Buckner for Apple Valley. Buckner may as well just give up. Schwark has got his number.
Well, big save by Schwark, but the Cats are going to make another appearance in the penalty box. One of the reasons Buckner didn't get a good shot there is because he was slashed.
This time it's going to be Ben Williams with 2:04 to go in the first. We'll roll back to Phoenix Nygaard, one of the 3 student managers for this squad, along with Avery Hendrickson and Hannah Zabel. But yeah, I understand. I was told by one of the parents, make sure we give her credit. All kinds of this social media design, just tremendous asset to this program when it comes to social media and graphic design, and so. And if I understand her, they said she had 700,000 TikTok followers.
I find that incredible.
Yeah, I don't. Very active. I know that, but. Vobel for the nearly got number 2. I think they can hear that one clang down in Apple Valley.
Yeah, that was the iron that you want to hit, not the rafters or the girders here at the Eagan Civic Arena. That was the post, and Johnson happy that those posts were just a little too thick.
Yep, goalie's best friend.
Absolutely.
Buckner overskates that one a little bit. Eilertson couldn't control. And who's going to take it at center? It's going to go back into the Eagan zone. Apple Valley with 1:02 to go, man advantage. Their third of this period.
Last 2 power plays for the Eagles, Mike, have been reasonably credible. They've had some offensive zone time, have created pressure and shots on Schwark, but this one a little less to write home about.
But look at a play right there by Blake Pavic. And Apple Valley has not gotten out of the zone very easily on this power play. And it just starts in that neutral zone for the Cats with an advantage this time around. Kuechly tries to get it back. No, it tips that one just wide. And Forster able to fire that one out of the zone, and Francis has to regroup at neutral.
A great feathered pass by Jenstead there. Number 20, I think it was 20. Now I'm looking around. I don't see him on the ice. Maybe I thought it was Holland? Noland?
Him right?
Noland. I bet it was Noland. Yeah, it was 20, not 22. It was 22, not 20. It was Noland. But great feathered pass that time back to the middle. making Schwark's life. I mean, they're being outshot. The Cats are being outshot 2-1 right now, Mike.
Yep. But they're up 1-0 where it matters. Apple Valley basically on the power play till the end of this period. I think it was about a 3-second difference. Schwark, I'm not sure he saw that, but it hit the left pad. Keep the opportunity. He's going to go to the corner. Can the Cats? They will send that one all the way down. Should end the period, and it will. As there's a bother. Well, you mentioned it. The Wildcats badly outshot, 15-7 advantage Eagles, but 1-0 Eagan where it matters the most.
Well, conceding 3 power plays to the Eagles is going to give them an opportunity to get many more shots on net, Mike. But again, the Cats came out in this game looking just not with the same jump. I wouldn't say disjointed necessarily, but not with the same intensity and jump that we've seen them in the last handful of games leading into this one as they head towards the end of this season. And that's something that the coaching staff will want to talk to definitely want to talk to the players about and say, hey, guys, let's make sure that, A, we're not looking past anybody, all right, and B, let's use this as a warm-up for next Tuesday.
I saw Benoiken came out, and he's talking to one of the officials right at center ice. Thomas saw that for the Wildcats, and he came over to kind of be like, hey, what's going on?
Well, I think what Benoiken's saying is, first of all, he's probably a mature young man. He's apologizing to the referee, saying, look, I'm sorry. I was frustrated.
Yep.
You got in my way as I was bringing it over the blue line. We're having trouble scoring goals this year. You got in my way. I'm sorry about that. I was pissed. Well, excuse me. Can I say that on the air?
We're good.
I was upset, and nothing. I apologize, and the referee saying, hey, understand what you're mad. I try to get out of your way, but obviously you can't chirp at the officials like that. After the play, it's one thing that most officials will allow that momentary burst of anger after a player doesn't get a call or feels like they've been unfairly dealt with, but he came back after the play and was chirping at the referee skating up the ice, and that's what the referee says, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to go down that road.
Yep. Well, the Zambonis down the ice. That means we're going to take a break as we get second period action. When we come back, you're watching Wildcat Hockey on ETV. Welcome back inside the Eagan Civic Arena. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way, for everyone out there. Hopefully you've overindulged in chocolate and sweet tarts and what are them little candy hearts that say different things on them?
Yes, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Haven't had one since I was probably in 4th grade.
I was going to say about that, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget, all that stuff will be probably on sale tomorrow at your local store. Anyway, he's Nathan Cron. I'm Mike Cook. Thanks for being back with us here on Eagan TV, where after one, it's 1-0 Eagan over Apple Valley. And Nathan, maybe a quick opportunity. Let's talk about the ETV crew here today.
Absolutely. Our executive producer is Josh Sibley. Our director today, Jared Greenberg. And cameras manned by Carter Bain and Winter Price. Thank you for making us look and sound so good. You guys are, Mike and I are just volunteers, but you guys are the real engine that makes this go.
Yep, they don't get paid enough. I will say that. And you and I were talking between periods just to pat ourselves on the back, but we know we've got a good broadcast here. And we've had other coaches that have told us that Eagan does have a really quality broadcast, and they do it unprompted. So to me, that's maybe some of the best kudos we can get. And again, it's truly a team effort. You and I just get headsets and are told to talk.
Well, Shilkin had that puck just die in the water. This is another opportunity for the Eagles.
Yeah. That's one thing about Eagan Arena, and we've noticed it throughout the year. And I don't know if it's a setting on the Zamboni or how that all works, but there's often standing water after the resurfacing, far more than you see at most other rinks.
Yeah, it's something that is hopefully it doesn't impact either team in any dramatic fashion. Notably, one of the Shakopee players missed a breakaway because the puck got snagged by a puddle right in front of Austin Schwark. Yep. But of course, Schwark isn't going to complain about that one. But
no.
But the reality of it is that Schwark with another save. Oh, it's loose.
Didn't know where I was. I think he thought he had it, and then Benoiken came charging in for Apple Valley, and that's when Schwark kind of quickly ducked to his left, but no harm. Letterberg. Whistle behind the play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's.
We're going to have, I think.
Offsetting, it looks like Buckner and Nygaard.
Yeah, the number 2s.
Each going to sit for 2.
The number 2s are going to sit for 2, absolutely.
I didn't see it behind the play. I just heard the whistle. I'm going to presume it's offsetting roughs. 1:09 into the second. I think everybody is okay. We've got 5 Eagles on the ice, 5 Wildcats.
No penalties on the board, so yeah.
Yep.
So everybody goes for roughing. Unfortunate that time as Lunenborg had a good shot on goal. There was a rebound that was given up.
I believe roughing was the official call, according to PA announcer Jason Hetland. Forrester right at the blue, and a long shot. Johnson gives up the rebound, and another rebound. Thomas couldn't quite poke home that loose puck for the Cats.
Thomas just too much in the middle. If he had just been off to the side, maybe of Johnson, one side or the other, he probably could have slapped that home, but found himself right square to Johnson and unable to uncork the cannon.
Liam Thomas on senior day looking to make it 2-0 for the Wildcats.
Oh, yeah. What senior doesn't want to score on senior day?
Exactly. Speaking of Liam Thomas, by the way, he's going to go to a 4-year college to major in education. Fun fact, he was in band for 3 years and choir for 1. And I liked his advice, too. It says, if you don't love hockey, learn to love it. You only have so much time to play the best sport in the world. So there you go, all the future Wildcats and future Eagles.
You do only have so much time. On all the years we've been doing football and hockey, and I've been doing soccer and things like that, we've seen so many seniors and graduating classes for not just the Wildcats, but the teams they've played, and it's
turnover potential. Johnson got a pad on that one. As Turvold with an opportunity. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I was going to say we've seen seniors so often. Johnson gets a mitt to that on the near post, but seeing the seniors and how much this means to them and their realization that what started as maybe as a freshman or sophomore in the program, all of a sudden you become a senior and you realize you only have so many games left and you only have so many chances to skate with your friends, so many chances to represent your school and your community, and how important that is. And of course in hockey, given that in Minnesota the way we do hockey at the high school level, at the community level, it's really a special thing, and to watch those seniors realize that and understand and love that is really a blessing.
Well, and you talk about playing with your friends. A lot of these guys have played together since they were, 4, 5, 6 years old. Lifelong friendships have been made, but knowing full well, last time you put on a Wildcat sweater is going to be here before you know it. Same with Apple Valley, the Apple Valley Burnsville kids.
Yeah, what I just said is equally valid for whether you're a Wildcat fan or Eagle fan. It doesn't matter.
Cats need to tag, by the way. Allardson's drop pass for Kreiser couldn't quite connect. Cats going to change up a bunch of guys far side. Williams is going to come in 1-on-3.
Cats need to figure out that lineup change just a little bit faster. That was one of the ugliest line changes they've had all season, I guarantee.
That was being kind, I think, to use that word. Yeah, I'm going to guess that Coach Kreiser will have something to say about that. Cats looking for a penalty there, none forthcoming. Here's Williams. Got Turner down that far side, couldn't feather that pass across. Holland in on defense for Apple Valley. Miller gets knocked down behind the play, but the Cats able to keep it in briefly. Ryan Grotman finishes his check. Grotman is going to go to North Dakota for business management next year. Also a referee in his free time of youth hockey.
So they're going to take, all right, something's very interesting here. Initially, it looked like they might call icing. Instead, they are going to call a penalty. And are they going to call a penalty?
Faceoff's going to come out to the dot. Okay, I think we're going to stay 5 aside, keep the boxes empty.
Yeah, I'm a little confused there. I don't know if
yeah, I am too.
It wasn't played with a high stick. It wasn't a hand pass. I'm mystified. Anyway, in any event, we play on.
Yep. Cats much better pressure this period. Shots right now 5-1 Eagan as we're just over 4 minutes into this middle frame. Still just 1-0 though, where it matters the most. Apple Valley looking to poke this one out near side. White, can he control it? Can't get it past Forrester, who pinched in nicely from the defensive spot. Backhand across, Thomas. And puck is loose after Johnson saved. Back in front, Johnson just somehow got the glove out. He never saw that. Look what I found, I think, on that save. Still counts as a save.
Absolutely. He's keeping his team in the game.
Absolutely. Pavic opportunity. Lunenburg had hit a defenseman on the way through. That was Link in there for Apple Valley, number 4. Marshall Link, junior defender. Into the zone. Potential 2-on-1, but Vobel's going to, actually there's a turnover opportunity. Schwark gets the left shoulder on that. And Buckner looks to the ceiling again. That's at least 6 he's stopped Buckner on, right?
And Keekley slamming his stick. He's upset. Absolutely should have had a goal there. Schwark coming to the aid and comfort of Wildcat fans everywhere, getting his his blocker over to that one.
And Grandma Schwark down in Orange Beach, checking in. I'm sure she loved watching that save. Also checking in from Orange Beach, Grandma and Grandpa Klein, part of the Schwark clan. Watching Austin and the Wildcats. Appreciate you checking in from the shore of the Gulf Coast. Here's Benoiken. Stops, spins. Buckner comes in again. Loses the puck this time. Can the Cats get it out of the zone? Battle right in front of the Apple Valley fan section. And here come the Cats. Numbers. Turvold. Turvold shot. Used the defenseman as a screen. Went right through the legs. But Johnson with the save.
Good shot by Turvold, keeping it down, forcing Johnson to try to get a pad to it, hopefully giving up a rebound. There was a rebound. Unfortunately, nobody in a white jersey able to get on the other end of it.
Valley with numbers briefly. Benoiken uses a screen, save, Schwark. Prius was right there, or Priest, I should say. And boys will be boys.
Just a little gentle pushing and shoving as Schwark. As Schwark tried to keep one of his guys from boiling over. That was actually kind of funny.
It was.
I've rarely seen goalies try to get their guys to calm down. Just keep it cool. But again, the Cats gave up 3 power play opportunities to the Eagles in that first period. And if the Eagles are going to stay in this game, that's one way they'll stay in this game was with power plays.
Nolan pinched that one in for Apple Valley Burnsville, 22 in Brown. 6 minutes elapsed here in the second. Cats looking to bring it out. Shilkin on the rush. Shilkin cuts to that circle. He'll get the shot off. Didn't go very far because Francis got a good piece of that for Apple Valley. Here's Turner from way out. That hit Nolan's skate on the way through. Eagles going to dump that one in. They're going to make a 3-player change as the Eagles get into the zone. Puck comes out. Close to a too-many-men penalty there, but the player going off got the skates up in time.
I'd love to know from Schwark if that's what he's trying to do. You don't want to turn the puck over in the second period like this, and with this long change. Look out, Mom and Dad.
Souvenir.
You don't want to turn the puck over necessarily, but if you see the other team trying to make a change and they're taking a little extra time, as we check on the fans to make sure everyone's healthy and happy, and I don't see anybody crying, and I see no blood, so in my household, that means everything's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, everything looks. Yeah, I'm looking down,
but I wonder if Schwark is trying to draw a too-many-men penalty by firing a puck over there. I'd love to know. I mean, that's high hockey IQ stuff from a goalie, right?
Yeah.
It would be anyway.
Speaking of that, goalie thing, Coach Kreiser said, one nice thing this year, everybody's got a goal except the goaltenders. And he even said, we thought Schwark might get one this year, the way he likes to fire that puck down the ice. I mean, the regulars, I should say. Ryan Grotman doesn't have one, Quinn Meade doesn't have one, but they play very limited shifts. But I think of the varsity regulars, you can say, again, just the depth this team has. And Coach Kreiser said it at the start of the year, we don't have, a 20, 25 goal scorer. We've got a lot of, 10 goal scorers. And really, we've seen that throughout this season for the Eagan Wildcat squad. As I try not to knock over opportunity. Buckner! I don't know Avery Buckner at all, but dude, give it up. And we say that jokingly. Just because Schwark has just stonewalled him on chance after chance. Vogel going to control for the Cats back at neutral. Didn't get much on that. Apple Valley opportunity. Guess who? And nice job coming over that time by John Ballman, a Wildcat senior. Ballman's going to go to either a trade school or play some juniors as he tries to get Kreiser. But Ballman trade school or juniors next year. Fun fact about him, he says simply, I can cook.
So I have questions. I'd like to, again, I want to know more.
Exactly.
I mean, what is John Ballman? You see him there on your screen. What is
number 8?
What is John? Is he a stir-fried guy? Is he a pastry chef? I mean, I'm kind of interested now.
Yep. Again, all these facts on the Eagan Boys Hockey Booster Club Facebook page. As we're halfway through this one, still 1-0 Wildcats. Speaking of Ballman, tries to poke that one in. Benoiken gets past him. Benoiken and Vobel. Vobel, he'll be back next year, just a junior on this year's squad. Around the boards, Apple Valley tries to get it in front. Backhand is there. White can't quite get the shot off. Tied up nicely by Vobel. Vobel, the lone goal scorer today. Williams to give chase. He gets past Rob Williams. Opportunity. Johnson, another save.
He had Nygaard on the other side. I'm not sure if he saw him, if somehow he'd be able to sauce that over to Nygaard. And we have a big collision there right in front of the Eagle bench. Eagle bench looking for a call of some sort, a charge or a rough.
Yeah, John White absolutely leveled by the combination of Nygaard and Turner.
That's a lot of beef to get. I mean, that's what happens when, you think about a hamburger, it's buns and the beef is in the middle there. The beef was on the outside.
White nearly got a goal there to make up for that hit. Apple Valley, good pressure. Schwark again. Good defensive play. I think Shilkin got on there. Schwark is tied up by Benoiken. Little extracurriculars there. Benoiken slow to get off the Eagan netminder. As we go back to the other end, Williams opportunity. Backhand. Johnson save. Williams knocks down White.
There's crazy action on all ends of this ice at the same time, Mike.
Here comes Williams again. He goes, tied up a couple of guys. Valley looking for a call there. None forthcoming as Williams runs right into an Apple Valley defender. This one all the way down. Will it be an ice? No, waved off quickly. Pavic in deep for the Cats. He and Nolan tangle. Pavic, Lunenburg shot. That hit traffic in the way. Johnson trying to find that puck, and it's in his glove, or it was on top of the net. He was kind of looking up.
It didn't get into the goal, which is the only thing that matters. I'm not sure where it ended up.
I'm not sure either.
Glove, blocker, net, somewhere. He's waving like it's stuck. Maybe it was stuck on the outside of the net. I don't know. But in any event, that was the equivalent. That was the equivalent of what I euphemistically call sometimes when I'm calling games an ant scramble. Everyone was that was chaos on the ice. And Eagles tried to make a change.
Yeah, I think Nolan's still upset that there wasn't a call against Williams. He kind of did get his stick up when he went into an Apple Valley player, but Bishop was watching closely and no arm went up. Kreiser for the Cats controls the draw. Backhand. Larson just steered that one wide on a backhand. Again, Larson, one of the dozen seniors honored before this hockey game. Kreiser keeps it in. And gets past Turvold as Apple Valley able to get it into the zone just briefly. Cats have definitely picked things up here in this second period. There's 6 minutes remaining in it. Kreiser from way out. That's high off the glass. Boy, Brody Kreiser's been getting a lot more ice time as this season has gone on. Again, just the credit to Austin Kreiser rolling at least 3 lines on a regular basis. It's Turvold, Larson, and Brody. Again, the depth that Eagan has this year. Safely can consistently roll those 3 lines. Here's Forrester from way out. Johnson steers that aside. Kreiser in front. Johnson, it is in! Garrett Larson on senior day.
Congratulations, Mr. Larson. You've tallied on senior day. Not every senior gets to do that, but you've done that, and that's one you'll remember for quite some time. It gives the Cats a 2-0 lead. Shots have started to even up now at 23-19. Still in favor of the Eagles, but gee whiz, I think that constitutes is that a greasy goal, dirty goal?
Absolutely.
Kind of a dirty goal, right?
Bottom line is it'll be third of the year for Garrett. He had the game winner down at Eastview earlier this year. So nothing but big goals for Garrett Larson.
Yeah.
Kreiser, Forrester with the assists, and Eagan's going to go on the power play. I think it's number 21 going to go sit for Apple Valley, which would be Himmelwright, and indeed it is Himmelwright to the bench. Did not see what happened. I just saw the official pointing at the Eagle.
Yeah, kind of behind the play.
5:14 to go in the second. Cats up 2-0. And they got a power play upcoming. Second of the game. This comes just 16 seconds after that Larson goal.
Well, this would be the opportunity for the Wildcats if they can get one here. That might be, given the offensive challenges that the Eagles have had this season, that really might be it effectively for the game. But again, Eagles not going away, still out shooting the Cats.
Like I say, 23 shots for Apple Valley right now, 20 for the home team. Make it 21, 22, 23. And Vobel's going to get that loose puck. Vobel opportunity, he's got one. Not going to get a second right there.
Big credit for Johnson. He's standing strong for these Eagles.
He has.
I mean, he's keeping them in the game. Eagles have also had 4 power play opportunities, and they've not been able to score on any of those. Check it, 3 power play opportunities, and not been able to score on any of those, even though they've created offensive pressure on Schwark.
Vobel to control back up top. Eilertson. I think that's Williams' far side. Here's Eilertson. Nice defensive play right at the moment for Apple Valley Burnsville. Keeping the Cats to the outside. Eilertson, Williams. A lot of puck movement for the Cats halfway through this power play. Williams looking to create something. He had an opportunity to send it in front, but nobody there wearing white. That one's all the way through. Another save for Apple Valley's Johnson. Well, he crouched over after that. I'm not sure if that one stung him a little bit.
Cats are passing really well, not moving their feet a whole lot here on this power play.
Eilertson gets it back. He'll shoot from way out. Actually stopped by Turner on the way through. Cats able to keep it in. Those Eilertson deftly pinches in. And couldn't keep it in that time. And puck back out. Cats are going to need a couple of fresh forwards on the ice. Williams with that long shot. Whistled high over the cage. 14 to go, man advantage. Forster just going to dump it around. Nobody there wearing white. Cats were slow to get a fifth player on the ice.
Yeah, it was 4v4 there for just a minute.
Lunenburg in front. Tried to get Nygaard and Ballman. We are back at 5 aside now. Williams. That's high up into the netting with 3:11 to go in the second. 17 shots on goal this period for the Wildcats. And those are just shots on goal. Shot attempts has got to be pushing 40. Might be a little high. 35.
35 probably, yeah.
Ice is definitely tilted in favor of the home team, but here comes Benoiken. Oh, they blew that. There wasn't. That was a delayed icing call there. I'm not sure. The refs just didn't connect. And Benoiken's asking for an answer as well. So we do have one official down on one knee, just inside the zone. I don't know if that official tripped on the way back and landed funny.
Maybe he was going to call icing and then lost an edge.
Yeah, I don't know. But usually an official falls, you'll hear the crowd kind of a little bit of laughter. We heard nothing down there. So
yeah, I don't know if it's a collision or exactly what was going on.
Well, the main thing is,
in any event,
he's up.
The icing was called, so it'll be an offensive zone faceoff for the Cats. And again, they were unable to score on that power play, Mike. But the chances still here as they now take the lead in shots, 24-23. Chances are here for the Cats to try to get a stranglehold on this game. They really need to do that. The longer this game stays close, the more the Eagles think, hey, we can still climb into this. And it's that kind of situation that you don't want to let happen if you're the Wildcats.
Yeah. Cats come in, they're averaging 2.83 goals per game, going up about 3.2. And if you look at the last few games, I mean, Eagan is not scoring a lot of goals. I mean, they got blanked at Rosemount, had 2 against South, 1 against Shakopee, 2 against North. 2 goals a game is not going to get you very far in the postseason. And the Cats need to, and we've seen earlier in the year where this team can get on an offensive roll. Just a matter of finding it once again.
Well, step number 1 is getting shots to the net, right? Yep. Step number 1 is to get shots to the net. Cats officially credited with 24 at this point. That's not a bad total, through almost 2 periods. 12 shots a period is a nice goal to have. And at this point, just need to get a couple more goals, and a couple more goals will give them some breathing room here.
Absolutely.
Don't let them exhale.
Kreiser knocked off the puck by Shears. He goes into the zone, but Kreiser gets it back. Tried to center it in front. Coming down the slot was Turvold. Turvold still get a shot off just a hair later, but nothing doing it. Larson tied up behind. Number 20 made it 2-0 for the Wildcats just a little bit ago. Here's Shilkin. That was blocked on the way through. Kept in though, Kreiser, the quick spin. Oh, I thought Johnson might put the glove down on that to get a stoppage. Did not. Puck comes out. No chance of an icing there. As Shilkin and Vobel retreat for the Cats.
Lots of good blocked shots by the Apple Valley Eagles on the way in. That's one of the reasons as you say, the shot attempts for the Cats are probably in the mid-30s at this point in the period.
Already Kreiser back across. Turvold. Johnson again all over that one.
Kreiser put it right on his tape. That was a beautiful, beautiful pass.
Yep.
And a beautiful catch by Turvold.
Penalty behind the play. It's going to go against Shilkin, and it's going to be an interference against Benoiken. This comes with 1:14 to go in the second period. Huge opportunity for Apple Valley Burnsville to change that 0 to a 1 before they go to the locker room. As we said, 4th power play opportunity of the afternoon for the Eagles.
So if the Eagles are going to climb back into this game, Mike, this is where they're going to do it.
Absolutely. We said Shilkin serving for the Wildcats, another one of those seniors. He's going to study business next year. And by the way, his favorite food is strawberries. Do you know that?
I did not know that,
No.
but I do now.
Yep. Apple Valley will be on the power play till this period expires, pardon me. Schwark with another save. At that time, White came in. That's going to go all the way down. Take some more seconds off the clock.
Well, Ballman can cook, and
Shilton
likes strawberries.
Strawberry, absolutely.
So maybe maybe I don't know. Actually, ask Ballman what his favorite best strawberry dish is.
There you go. I'm thinking, it's Valentine's Day, strawberries and cream maybe. Oh, Apple Valley on the board with 23.4 to go in the second. Don't go anywhere, fans. We've got a wild third period upcoming, but we've still got 23 seconds in this one as it's going to be Marshall Link. First goal of the year for Link. He's a junior.
Well, congratulations to Link. Nicely done. Just sliced to the middle, cut to the middle. You see him getting congratulations on the bench. And that's just what the Eagles needed. And the Cats are in a dogfight.
Benoikin on the assist. Link is a junior. He got no goals this year, so I don't know if that was his first career goal. If it was, congratulations.
What a time for it.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that Austin Kreiser or the coaching staff for the Cats needs to necessarily peel the paint off the locker room walls, but I think a little bit of elevated volume and a little bit of intensity is probably necessary here. The Cats conceding here in the last 30 seconds of the game, of the second period. And they've set themselves up, as I said, the Cats are in a dogfight, and the Eagles have landed.
Well, teams are going to go to the locker room, and we've got at least 17 more minutes of hockey going here in the regular season finale for both the Eagan Wildcats and the Apple Valley Burnsville Eagles. So stay with us here on ETV. We'll come back for what looks to be an exciting third period. We got at least 17 minutes to go in this one. Will that be enough time for a winner as the Eagan Wildcats lead the Apple Valley Burnsville Eagles 2-1 after 2 periods in the final regular season hockey game of the year for both of these squads. He's Nathan Cron, I'm Mike Cook. Thanks for being with us today and really all year here on ETV. Make sure we give a shout out to those of you that have tuned in, and again, we really appreciate it. So Eagles get that one there with 23 seconds to go in the period, and Nathan, we've got ourselves a brand new hockey game.
Yeah, it's the Eagles have entered the chat, so to speak, right? For the kids out there who might think of it that way. And we weren't sure where the Eagles would go after Larson. After Larson got his goal, the second for the Wildcats. Cats went then on a power play, and we thought for sure if the Cats were, at least I thought for sure, if the Cats were able to get one there, boy, that might be the end of it for the Eagles, because they've, as you pointed out before the game, Eagles have not scored that many goals.
No, we said in this 10-game losing streak, because I got to find the stat I had somewhere, but Apple Valley has been outscored by a huge number, and actually in the last 10, losing 10 straight, they've been outscored 61-12. Scoring more than 2 goals just one time in that stretch.
Yeah, that's not a recipe for long-term success, as you might imagine.
Valley comes in 1.92 goals per game and almost 5 a game allowed. Stats again courtesy of Legacy Hockey.
Oh, you got to get our stats right.
Yep, we have a discussion over on the bench with one of the Apple Valley coaches, and I think it's regarding the rink itself with, again, quite a bit of standing water out there.
Yeah, I think despite the fact that there was an attempt to hold the teams off for an extra minute or two, let it firm up, I think they're going to say, okay, guys, let's just get a drink of water, relax, watch season 5 of Stranger Things, whatever you have to do to kill some time.
Gives us an opportunity. Let's talk about the playoff real quick, just the playoff schedule. Tuesday the 17th, home game at the higher seed. And then the semis are going to be at Bloomington Ice Garden on Friday the 20th. 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock start times. Judging by the brackets on the high school league site, if Eagan goes that far or Apple Valley goes that far, presuming Eagan's in the 4-5 game and presuming Valley's an 8 seed, they play 5 o'clock on Friday up at the Bloomington Ice Garden. Section final is the 24th over at St. Thomas Arena at that new Lee and Penny Anderson facility, which I've heard is a really fine facility. Have yet to go in there.
It is a fine facility. It is not the it's I'll say it this way. It is a Division I level facility. It is a beautiful facility. It has all the accoutrements. It has all great sight lines. I think the capacity is around 6,500. So it's not the biggest arena. It's not enormous. Of course, they have a relatively small footprint they had to jam that into at St. Thomas. But in any event, here we go, third period action.
Remember, just don't ask the neighbors about parking up there.
Oh, don't ask the neighbors about parking up there. That's right.
Carpooling will be encouraged if either of these squads makes that section final. Here's Buckner for Apple Valley. Avery Buckner has got 11 goals on the year. Easily could have a couple of more today, but Schwark has just had his number with 15 seconds elapsed here in the third period.
So Eagles really trying to spring Benoit in there, with a big outlet pass just flopping high in the air. Maybe that's what the Eagles absolutely are in this hockey game, and if they can somehow get 2-2, it's that will be a compelling broadcast going forward.
Absolutely.
Let's say it that way.
Yes, will the sticks be, that one did get out. Yeah, will the sticks get gripped a little extra tighter by the Eagan Wildcats? Cats come in there 11-12-1 on the year. Apple Valley 4-19-1. Apple Valley Burnsville, they're at the bottom of the South Suburban Conference. And Eagan, I believe, was in the number 6 spot as we've got a hooking penalty upcoming with just 31 seconds elapsed in the third period. And it's going to be Ben Williams for the Wildcats. And I will guarantee you, Coach Kreiser did not say in the locker room between periods, hey guys, let's go out and take an early penalty.
No, this is definitely not what the Wildcats needed. This will be the 5th power play opportunity for the Eagles.
And the last time that power play, that goalie Apple Valley had was a power play goal in the waning seconds of that second period. But Benoit's going to dump that one in for Apple Valley. Tell you what, I expect to see a lot of number 12 on the ice the rest of this game for the Apple Valley Burnsville Eagles. He's out there with Buckner, number 2. Himmelwright is normally the left wing on that trio, but we are on the power play, so things are a little different here. Link with an opportunity. Schwark aside. Oh, opportunity that time for Apple Valley Burnsville. Schwark with the glove. Spencer Miller's going to be thinking, I should have had that one, but it was a bouncing puck. Nearly opportunity to beat Schwark on the stick side.
Yeah, this is very dangerous stuff for the Wildcats. They are absolutely playing with fire, and the Eagles can smell a chance to climb right back into this hockey game.
1:25 to go, man advantage. Apple Valley Burnsville. Benoiken. Comes across, out, went off Turner. Cats should be able to get this out of the zone. Done so by a diving Max Turner.
Turner selling out to get that, and Pavic unable to come up with that one. But that's the second time on this power play the Cats have winged it around, and it's been kept in at the point calmly and casually by the Eagles. Cats have got to do a better job of trying to get a clearance.
Benoiken back up top, inside a minute to go in the power play. Is it down low? Here's Buckner. Tipped by that time by Pavic. Puck does stay in, however. Down low, there's Link for Apple Valley. Marshall Link. He does have the goal for the Eagles. Pavic, and I believe that's Forrester in there on the kill for the Wildcats, but it's Apple Valley coming away with it. Puck is lost in the skates of Miller. Valley still controls though with Benoiken. Inside 30 to go, man advantage. Outside of the net gets hit. Benoiken taken down by Volbel cleanly. Miller back up top. This puck's been in the Eagan zone for most of this power play. Buckner back across. Benoiken. If he could have controlled it, he might have had Schwark coming across. Or a chance to beat Schwark, who was coming across. 5 to go, man advantage, and the Cats 5 for 5 on the PK. Or 4 for 5.
Now, honestly, I had forgotten that goal was on the power play. It was at the waning seconds of the power play as I look at my notes, and if I have my notes correct. But Cats escape. Let's see if they can get some offensive momentum.
Schwark tried to go for the glove save after that puck popped up. It was just a little out of his reach. Apple Valley keeping the pressure in the zone. Here comes Garrett Larson. Couldn't quite control. Backhands it in. Here's Turvold for Eagan. Turvold opportunity. Tries to make a move, but Francis there for the Eagles. Larson controlling behind the net for the Wildcats. Kreiser's in front, so's Turvold. Shot. Johnson steers that one aside. Kreiser with the puck. Tried to get Larson. Larson opportunity. Save Johnson. Save number 26 of the afternoon for Miles Johnson, the Apple Valley senior. 13.5 to go, and dare we say the word. Wait, we can't say that yet. Ballman.
With big shoulder there.
Yep. Ballman, a senior for the Cats. Larson, a senior. Johnson watches that one go wide of the glove. Lunenburg pinches in for the Eagan Wildcats. He and Link. Lunenburg still and Link into the corner. Stop, turn, Thomas, shot. Boy, Johnson gives up a couple of rebounds. Cats just unable to get anybody in there.
And the rebounds seem to be squirting well and wide of the net. He's not keeping a rebound close to the net. It's going well wide. It's almost like a soccer goalie who knows he or she can't get to the puck, or the ball, but manages to punch it well wide of a potential rebound.
Himmelwright carries in for Apple Valley. Benoiken. Turnover, Link. Sends it back across. It was behind Benoiken as Apple Valley changes up one player. Himmelwright went off in 24. John White came on. Eagan just hanging on to this 2-1 lead. Dare I want to say nursing a 2-1 lead. Here's Pavic for the Cats, just flips it out. Cats going to be able to make a change.
Yeah, Cats needed 5 new skaters. We'll see if maybe some new skaters and fresh legs will change the intensity here.
No icing that time. Schwark out to play it. It's kind of a fluky bounce, couldn't get out to Nygaard. Now it's Nygaard. Here comes Nygaard down the left side with Volbel. Volbel got that first Eagan goal. Nygaard opportunity for Williams following up. Nygaard. Shilkin. Volbel could Rebound over his stick. Nearly 3-1 Cats.
Oh, Vobel absolutely is going to be cursing the ice.
Williams was tied up behind the play. He and Buckner. Buckner was kind of over Williams for a few extra seconds. Shilkin loses it. And Benoitkin touches the puck, and Benoitkin's going to sit for 2 on a slash. His second penalty of the hockey game. 5:40 elapsed in the second.
Well, there was a lot of action. There were a couple of cross checks and shots behind that play. As you said, one of the Wildcats tied up behind the net. Boy, that was
Williams.
That was action all over the ice.
Eagan Wrestling might have been, or Apple Valley Wrestling might have been proud of that one. Lunenburg on the draw for the Wildcats. This is Thomas. Forster near side. Back across. Turvold. Lunenburg, that was knocked down on the way through. White with a stick in there for Apple Valley. Lunenburg far side. Turvold. Forster thought about shooting, lost the puck briefly. He'll get it back up top. Now he'll get a shot off. Johnson is on the puck. And another save. Charlie Forster, by the way, one of the Eagan seniors, going to study finance at Missouri. Fun fact about Charlie, I've broken 9 bones.
Fun fact or evidence of poor decision making?
Fun fact, I've broken 9 bones.
Well, when you're a little kid, it's usually because of bad decision making. When you're an older kid, it's usually because of just bad luck or you got hit by something.
Apple Valley potential with numbers coming down this time, shorthanded. That was Nolan in, but he loses the puck. 1:14 to go, man advantage, Eagan.
Eagles just need to survive.
Vobel. And Nygaard trailing down the slot, but Johnson, that one goes up into the netting.
Might have come off of Williams' stick. Eagles need to survive. Cats, gotta say it, Cats need to get another goal on this board. I mean, they absolutely do. The opening few minutes of this third period haven't seen too many shots, and this is a golden opportunity for the Cats.
Turner wins the draw with a minute to go in the man advantage. Williams, he had a clean look. Buckner slid across, but slid a little too far, and all the way down goes this hockey puck. Apple Valley keeps the same 4 PK. Eagan, same 5 on the PP. Vobel gets back to Eilertson via a Apple Valley skate. Eilertson going to go deep. Circling around that time, Williams. He's got Nygaard and Turner up front as well. Shot, rebound is there. Turner couldn't quite get a stick on it. Buckner with a little soccer right foot there. Vobel, that one trickles wide. Didn't get all of that one. Kept in. Here's Vobel at the half wall. Tries to get it down low. This will be Nygaard in there for the Eagan Wildcats. Number 2 in white. With 9.5 to go in the third. Still 2-1 Eagan. And that'll kill off the power play opportunity for the Wildcats. Schwartz up to Williams. Williams, I should say, just dumps that one in for the Cats. Well, ultimately, they're going to have a fresh 4, and I would assume Williams will go off next time down the ice. But Williams thought it's a goal! I was going to say Williams wanted to nab one, and he did. 9:08 to go, and it's 3-1 Eagan Wildcats. Williams, that will be his team leading 18th of the year.
Well, it took till 7:52 elapsed in the third period for the Cats to get to 3, but they finally get to 3.
Yep. All alone was Williams, officially.
And as you said, Williams had been out there on that power play. He had to be short on legs. I mean,
oh my gosh, yes.
He was out there for a while. It's not a power play. I don't think it's not a power play tally as the Eagles had gotten to full strength, but Williams, and honestly, that is the kind of play that you need from a leader, from a senior leader.
Except he's only a junior.
He's a junior.
Yeah. But a senior leader should make those as well.
Senior leaders?
No. I'll tell you though, Williams, like I said, top goal scorer for this Wildcat squad this year, and he's another one of those players that really, he only has one gear in his motor, and that's full speed. Shilkin, 4-1 Cats. Senior day, Shilkin. Shilkin goal number 3. This one coming 37 seconds after Williams. Unassisted for Shilkin.
Wow.
That's all. I couldn't think of a word either.
Wow. That's.
Well, you could almost hear the sigh of relief coming from the Eagan bench. 3-1, you're sitting pretty comfortable. 4-1 should be more than enough this afternoon against, like you said, an Apple Valley squad that does not score a lot of goals, especially as of late. I mean, they got 12 goals in their last 10 games. So you would think this should be enough for the Wildcats, but Apple Valley has played with them for a good chunk of this hockey game.
Well, and the Wildcats have shown a propensity to take penalties, Mike Cook. And, you know, if the Cats can stay out of the box, I like their chances now up with a 3-goal lead. But I'll tell you, if they're not able to stay out of the box, it's not necessarily going to be that easy.
Yep, absolutely. Cats into the zone. Here's Blake Pavic. Pavic loses it. Pavic, another one of these seniors, and he's going to draw a penalty. Pavic, by the way, he's going to attend a 4-year college. Fun fact, he says, I'm part Canadian. And his advice is do what you love and don't give up on it. 2-minute minor to Apple Valley's number 34, Spencer Keekley. I didn't see the call.
That's going to be a knee-on-knee hit. I'm not sure if that's I don't know if they call it rough or if they call it I don't know what they call it, but it was basically kind of a knee-to-knee shot right at the blue line that took down Pavic.
Yeah, actually, they called it a trip.
Tripping. There you go.
Benoikin and just a full head of steam there for Apple Valley. Burnsville into the zone. Williams to regroup. He and Vobel. And actually coming up there, this is going to be Williams hanging onto the puck across all 3 lines. Johnson kind of fought that one off. Vobel in for the Wildcats. Vobel lost the puck, tried to go backhand, forehand. To the cross, Turner. Down low for Nygaard. Nygaard undecided what he's going to be doing next year. Loves pickleball, though, it says. Eilertson, Johnson with the save. Nygaard, advice for hockey players, enjoy hockey with your friends. It won't last forever.
Yeah, that is absolutely a common refrain that we talked about earlier in the broadcast, and all of these guys who are playing their last regular season game, as we hope that the Wildcats will have a game here on Tuesday night against probably the Park Cottage Grove Wolfpack, but you never know.
That one's tied down. Apple Valley potential 2-on-1 if they hurry. They're getting back nice with the Eagan defenders. That was Lunenburg and Forrester with under a minute to go in the power play. 6.5 to go in the third. Cats with a couple insurance markers this period. 4-1 lead. Turvold. He'll shoot that one. That goes tipped wide off the stick of Thomas. Thomas back out. Turvold. Lunenburg. 32 to go. Man advantage. And Apple Valley able to backhand that one out of the zone. Thanks to John White that time.
Key for the Wildcats here, number 1, stay healthy, right? Make sure nobody does anything that's going to get them hurt. Number 2, be crisp. Be crisp, be as on point and as precise as possible.
Forster with an opportunity. Rebound, goal, Eagan Wildcats. Turner on senior day.
Now menacing Max heads towards the Eagan student section. Celebration with his teammates.
11:15 time of that one. Just would be a power play goal. Second for Eagan, I believe, right?
Yeah, a bit of a dirty goal in front of, rebound kind of goal where the puck's kind of floating around just to the top of the crease. And poor Johnson. Johnson's doing his best he can to keep him off, but that's where we're at right now.
They announced Liam Thomas with the goal. Turner was the first man down, and he was celebrating like it was his. We'll have to check into that.
We'll ask the producers afterwards.
5.5 to go in this one. Cats 5-1 here on Senior Day.
I'm not sure Thomas was on the ice.
Yeah, I think the officials might have just had the wrong number. Benoiken with a goal, and it's 5-2. This one coming at 11:37, just 22 seconds after the Cats make it a 4-goal lead. No doubt who got that one.
No, absolutely not. I don't think won't have to go to VAR for that.
9th of the year for Benoiken. Hope to get a nice shot here on Senior Day. 5:21 to go. Eagan Wildcats put Micah Strott between the pipes. Senior netminder #1 for the Eagan Wildcats. Nice gesture there by Coach Kreiser. And I'm really glad the Cats have the opportunity for Micah to get into this game. Here's a kid that's busting his all year long. Smile on his face, we've been told. Just a great kid to have on this team. And you look at Micah there on the top of your screen, as they just panned off of it. Micah's going to flight school. Loves to snowmobile, and his advice is work hard every day because it will pay off.
Well, he's going to work hard here for the next 2 minutes as Nygaard has taken a 2-minute minor, and the Cats are going to go back on the penalty kill. Now, I'm not saying that the Eagles are going to make an amazing 4-goal plus comeback here, but if they're going to, this is how it's going to start.
Yeah, don't help them if you're the Eagan Wildcats. And Micah makes the save. Good passing attempt there. Little touch pass by Miller, but Eilertson in the way for the Wildcats. That one got knocked down on the way through.
The block by Shilkin there.
Yep. Here's Buckner. Buckner Strop with a save. Micah couldn't beat Schwark, can't beat Micah. Valley trying to keep the pressure, and that one's going to poke back out with 1:18 to go, man advantage. Apple Valley Burnsville. 4:13 to go in the hockey game.
So looking forward, the Cats have got to clean up these penalties, Mike. The 6 penalties, 6 power play opportunities is how the Eagles have been able to stay in this game and stay competitive in this game. They cannot do this. They certainly can't do this on Tuesday night.
And you mentioned 7. Well, they did have the one that was the offsetting roughs early on in this one. And Strop with the big save for the Wildcats. And his big fan club just to our right, they're loving that one. 3:49 to go. Hey, I want to mention that we have an Eagan senior that is not on the ice today. Connor Keogh, tremendous, huge part of this team. Unfortunately, got injured around Christmas break, but it was great to see him earlier today. Big smile on his face. We've asked him to come up and join us, but he didn't. And that might be him on the bench with the helmet. We're not sure on that, but he's going to do business analytics finance up at St. Thomas. And I thought his advice is pretty poignant. Don't take opportunities for granted, and don't give up when it gets hard. So, there's a young man that, like I said, season-ending injury. I think it was right before Christmas, if I'm not mistaken, but smile on his face, and good to see Connor doing really well. He said he'll be ready for the golf season.
Well, the way the weather's going, we might have golf season in March this year.
I did hear a driving range was going to open today.
Of course.
I think it was up at Bunker Hills, I heard. But anyway, here on Valentine's Day when it's like 52 degrees as we pulled into the rink this afternoon. 3.5 to go in the game. 30 seconds to go, man advantage, Apple Valley. So the Wildcats appear that they're going to improve to 12-1. We think they will get the 4 seed in Section 3AA. And it'll be number 5, Park of Cottage Grove here on Tuesday night, the 17th. Apple Valley probably going to be the 8th seed, And I would imagine that would mean a trip over to Mendota Heights to take on St. Thomas Academy. Obviously a monumental task for Apple Valley Burnsville in that opening round. Ballman for the Wildcats. Tries to get it across that time. Nobody there wearing white. Again, these sections are to be announced on Sunday, the 15th, so check out the State High School League website to find out who's going where. Again, assuming Eagan's in that 4-5 game, they win that. They play at the Bloomington Ice Garden on Friday the 20th, and I believe that'll be a 5 o'clock start for that part of the bracket. Again, section final up at University of St. Thomas on the 24th.
Yeah, Cats haven't hosted a section quarterfinal game here at the Eagan Civic Arena in 6 years, so hopefully on Tuesday night, there hopefully is not too much stuff going on, and hopefully there'll be a big crowd here for the Cats.
Our understanding is Eagan TV will be here.
Which means, you know, if the crew's here, we'll probably be here too.
Yeah, we should probably show up.
We should show up, yes.
I mean, we're volunteers, but, you know, we're still big supporters. And, again,
Yes.
you know what, we do this because we love it and enjoy it. And, you know what, and there's volunteers across all these sports. You know, there's, you know, basketball, volleyball, swim and dive. It's just, you know, proud to bring you Wildcat athletics across the Eagan TV spectrum.
And we've got Mann and Groutman out now, so we've got Ethan Mann and Ryan Groutman. I think that's Quinn Mead over there on the far side. So an opportunity for everybody to get a chance to get on the ice here.
Well, I know Mead and Mann were out there killing a penalty here in that first period at one point. Groutman's at least his second shift. I know he had kind of got physical with an Apple Valley player.
Yeah, I seem to recall that.
Yeah. He's getting Groutman going to go to North Dakota for business management. 90 seconds to go in this one. Micah watches that one go whiz by. Here comes Buckner in deep. Tried to get it in deep for Apple Valley Burnsville.
Well, Buckner's been snake bit all night in terms of being able to try to score a goal.
So Apple Valley's going to fall to 4-20-1 on the year. 1-13 in conference play. That one win though, they beat Eastview. So you know that's huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I mean in seasons, you and I have seen seasons where teams maybe don't have a lot of wins, but they get that one win against that intra-district opponent, that rival, and it takes some of that sting out of a season where you're maybe not winning too many games.
Right. I don't know if you can see it on the top of your screen there. You've got some of the fat heads I see. That's Max Turner, and I believe that's actually Connor Keogh on the left, right above the Xfinity sign. Yeah, I saw the senior parents had fat heads of their sons. Nice touch. Moms all got flowers as they were brought onto the ice for a pregame celebration.
Nice presentation for senior day.
That goes just wide of Micah Straub. And really out in the concourse too, really nice display for all the seniors. And opportunity, Micah there with a big save for the Cats. Quick whistle though.
It was all hands on deck that time for the defense as Straub blocks it, stops it, knocks it down. It's floating around a little bit, and all of a sudden all of his teammates cramming around him to make sure that puck doesn't get into the net. Straub definitely wants to keep his record clean.
And we've got his rooting section standing next to us, so plenty of noise made by those folks. Here's Nygaard. We said Nygaard, another one of the seniors. Undecided what he's going to be doing next fall. Here's Turner with an opportunity. And we've got a whistle because we've got an Apple Valley player down. Not what you want to see in a 5-2 game with 14 seconds to go.
No, absolutely not. So what happened there is that player whose name I can't pick out the number. He goes down. He and Turner were jostling for position. I didn't think it was a high stick. But he went down grabbing towards the top of his body. So that makes me wonder if maybe he got either in the neck with an elbow or a stick or just maybe a shoulder, something in the upper part of his body.
And Swanberg, the athletic trainer from Twin Cities Orthopedics, comes out to take a look. As you look at the Eagan Wildcat bench, Ryan Groutman there, number 40 in the middle. As Coach Kreiser is going to lead this squad to a 12-1 finish this season. 7-8-0 in conference play. And hey, quick shout out, by the way. Happy birthday, former coach Todd Carlson. Saw on Facebook today. I forgot he was a Valentine's Day baby. So heard he's doing really well, which is great to hear.
Well, you know, he celebrates Valentine's Day all the time, right? Every year, right? I mean, it's every year. It's important, you know, because it happens to be his birthday too, right?
Big party, I'm sure, down at Tiki Todd's this evening. Again, 14 seconds ago, 5-2, Eagan Wildcats.
Shots have now flipped 42-35 in favor of the Wildcats. I mean, that's despite the fact they've given up 6 power play opportunities to the Eagles. Initially, the Eagles were really taking it to the Wildcats, generating offense, generating shots on Schwark. But, you know, in the last probably third of this game, probably the last period of this game, a little more than that, it has been going the other direction.
You know, as I look at the Eagan bench there, and I failed to mention this earlier, but it is senior day. We've mentioned that a lot. But I asked Coach Kreiser before the game, I said, what are you going to take away from this senior group? You know, you got 12 guys, just, you know, really been, you know, they've had a lot of success this year. You've seen them grow throughout the year. And he said, you know, this is a fun group to coach. And one of the things he said, there's no chirping on the bench at all this year. He hasn't heard any of that. You know, the effort has never been questioned for this Eagan Wildcat squad, and just a really strong leadership group as well this year. So, Coach Austin Kreiser, first-year head man here at Eagan. Good to see the Apple Valley players at least up on all fours. Again, last thing you want to see is somebody get hurt. A hush in the Civic Arena. Again, just looking ahead, section playoffs most likely going to be here 7 o'clock on Tuesday the 17th for the Apple Valley, or for the Eagan fans. Apple Valley presumably will be at St. Thomas Academy.
As I said, I'm not sure exactly what the rest of the Eagan High School sports calendar looks like, but I would hope that on a Tuesday night, a random Tuesday night in February, we'd have a pretty packed house here for a section playoff game, given that we haven't hosted one here at the Civic Arena. And I wanted to say thanks to everybody who has joined us all season long, as the Apple Valley Eagle player up off the ice is able to skate off with some help.
Yeah, I'm able to make out the number. Looks like it's number 14. Luke Tossin, this might be one of his first shifts this hockey game. They list him on the 4th line on their depth chart. He along with Leo Tower and Finn Konisberger, but Tossin's a senior. Hope he's ready to go on Tuesday for Apple Valley. Best wishes to him.
I just want to finish thanking everybody for joining us all season. Mike, we assume that we are going to have a game here on Tuesday. It's not a guarantee, not a given, so I'd like to say thanks to you and thanks for ETV, another season of Eagan hockey in the books. And, of course, big thanks to Todd Schneiderhan for covering for us, Nicholas Cron pinch hitting for us, and, of course, the irreplaceable Dan Wu.
I was going to say incomparable.
Incomparable, irreplaceable.
Unsufferable.
Insufferable.
President of the Leo Gruba fan club.
We'll hear about it. Well, I'm sure we'll hear about it if we get our grammar incorrect.
Yeah. 6 seconds to go in this one. Again, final regular season game for both these squads. Dumping going to go just wide. Big hand from the Eagan fans. And let's hear what Apple Valley, they got a lot of positives I think they can take out of this one too. I mean, they took it to Eagan for really, I'd say 2.5 periods. Or maybe not took it to them, but maybe had the better of the play early in the first. Pretty even for most of the last half of the first period, most of the second. But then Eagan able to pull away here in this third period.
Yeah, it's going to be incumbent upon the Eagle coaching staff to take the positives out of this one, not so much look at the final score, but talk about the play between the teams. And again, the Eagles have the ability, if Johnson stands on his head, has a chance to, keep it close. If the Cadets, give the Eagles a couple of power play opportunities, anything could happen. It's hockey, right? It's a round puck and takes weird bounces. That being said, they've got a tall order, and congratulations to their seniors as they move on to the next chapter, whether it's the playoffs, it's juniors, it's college, it's trade schools, whatever it is. Congratulations to them as well. Hopefully the Wildcats, as I said, will be back here on Tuesday. And so you and I can say some more stuff about the seniors on Tuesday.
Like they win a playoff game.
Yeah, imagine. I mean, it's, again, that has not happened in 6 years. It would be nice to see that happen.
Well, Eagan and Park Cottage Grove tied 4-4 back on November 20th. And Coach Kreiser said before the game to me, who would have thought that a game on November 20th would have such a huge bearing on who we play next or where we play next week?
Or, alternatively, no bearing. Given that it was a 4-4 overtime tie, I mean, you shrug your shoulders and say, you shrug your shoulders and say, does it really tell you anything about these two teams? And I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But you're right, the winner of that game, had the Cats or the Wolfpack been able to win that game, they would have probably a pretty good argument in a head-to-head. Hey, we should be the 5, we should be the 4.
Now, one other thing, Coach, I want to mention this before we close it out. Coach Kreiser, I asked him when he's talking about this team as a whole. He says, there's a lot of hockey seasons where you're like at the end of the end of the season, and you're like, okay, thank God, we're finally here. He says this group, I would love to coach them for another 25 games.
Well, and this is Austin Kreiser's first year as the head coach of the Wildcats, and so he comes in, he is a new coach, and again, not a new coach to coaching, but a new coach to this program, and so that's to have a positive experience. To have some success on the ice, to have a positive experience regardless of success on the ice, kudos to him. Good, kudos to his coaching staff, and some good fortune. Obviously, smiled on he and his coaching staff as this particular group of seniors, this particular group of players have evolved and grown together and created this season a good season.
Absolutely. To use a football analogy, they continue to climb the ladder.
Climb the ladder.
So that's going to wrap it up here for the 25-26 regular season. As we said, hopefully not our last ETV broadcast of the year. Hopefully we've got a playoff matchup still to come. So be sure and check out the State High School League website to confirm that the Wildcats get the number 4 seed. He's Nathan Cron. I'm Mike Cook. Thanks again for being with us on behalf of everybody associated with Eagan TV. It's been a great year, and we look forward to seeing you, hopefully, for postseason action here on ETV.